Things are a little different this year. A little different and a little distant. They say it's unprecedented. We say it's a chance to show our strengths through integrity, respect, honesty, and trust. All things Eastview scholars are known for. All pieces in our puzzle. Your time at Eastview ended differently than we all thought it would. No pomp, no circumstance, and no hard-earned, well-deserved walk across the stage. It feels unfair, and it is unfair. But here's the thing. That walk doesn't make you a lightning. You've always been a lightning, ever since you set foot on campus 4 years ago, maybe long before then. And nothing will ever change that. You have years of experiences that no one can take away from you. Exciting memories, inspiring moments, challenging triumphs, and dreams come true. No one will have the same high school experience as you, and that's something worth embracing. The future is yours to shape. You are now a better version of yourself, ready to make an impact in your community, your country, and the world. Right now, we celebrate you, the class of 2020, in the best way we can. And we simply ask that you take care of yourself and others. Stay strong, stay curious, and as always, go Lightning.
Welcome, Lightning graduates, to the 22nd commencement of Eastview High School. I am Bruce Miller, principal of Eastview High School. This is a special time for all of us as we come together to celebrate and focus on you, an exceptional group of scholars, the class of 2020. Tonight is all about you. I am confident that all of you viewing this virtual commencement is wishing the same thing right now. To be in our stadium on a beautiful evening, under a clear sky, on green grass, enjoying this very special moment together with lots of family and friends surrounding us. Tonight, though, is different and not what we originally planned. At the same time, it is historic, a moment in time that will forever bond all of us together, especially our graduates. Tonight is a time to reflect on a long journey of learning, a time to recognize and celebrate your academic achievements, and a time to dream with hope and share optimism about the future. Each of you are a compilation of the collective experiences and relationships you have shared in the past. So this is also a celebration of the support of your family, friends, and teachers. You are who you are because of them. This moment is a celebration is also about those that have supported our graduates along their educational journey. I want to speak to all the parents, guardians, grandparents, and other supportive family members. I, too, am a proud parent of 2 Eastview alumni. I know the emotion that you are experiencing tonight, the vivid memories running through your minds of lots of special moments along the way, and trying to answer the question we all are asking ourselves tonight. How did we get here so fast? These are all moments that define each of our graduates tonight, and for which have prepared them well for what is next. Together, we are very proud of this group of young adults graduating tonight, and you have contributed greatly to their achievements. Great communities with strong public schools don't just happen. They are created through strong, supportive, passionate, and engaged individuals. You should be very proud of the community with which you have created, and for the support for which our students definitely benefit, the Eastview Learning Community. Your efforts have created rich experiences for our graduates and have laid the groundwork and left a strong legacy for students and parents who will follow. Hundreds of parents have volunteered thousands and thousands of hours in concession stands, at competitions and performances. You have sold and purchased lots and lots of fundraising items, and you are unconditional supporters of all things Eastview. The list goes on and on. You have played many important roles at Eastview, and with your important contributions, we are who we are in large part because of all that you have done for us. Parents and guardians of the class of 2020, you have certainly done your part, investing time, effort, care, and support on behalf of our graduates. That is why the Eastview Learning Community is what it is, a very special community. Thank you. Graduates, this is your cue to turn to your family members and with appropriate physical distancing measures, thank them with a hug, a high five, a fist bump, or just a glance and a nod. Nobody makes it alone, and you're surrounded by a great supportive community. I also want to recognize our Eastview Community Foundation. They fund grants for our teachers and coordinate and fund scholarships for Eastview students. Over the past 20 years, the Eastview Community Foundation has provided over $1.5 million to our deserving graduating seniors. Over $100,000 have been donated to our graduates this year alone. I would like to encourage the entire Eastview community to get involved with our foundation and its activities so we may continue to provide these exceptional opportunities for our future students. Graduates, we are fortunate to have a group of extraordinary, talented, and caring teachers who work tirelessly to make Eastview the kind of school that it is, who build student relationships while caring for you as individuals, while challenging you to grow and learn, supporting you along the way, giving you voice to develop independence, all while expanding your possibilities of achievement. They, like you, were asked to repurpose their plans for learning. They did so admirably, and with a focus on staying connected with you and are supporting your learning, there are lots of heroes that have emerged through the global health crisis, and your teachers are among them. And, as an aside, our teachers have guided you, our talented and hardworking students, to be named the #1 traditional public high school in the state of Minnesota for the past 2 years, and in the top 2% of the schools across the nation. And with their leadership and the legacy of you, our graduates, we will continue to be exceptional. Thank you, teachers, for exemplary scholarship and leadership and the tremendous impact which you have on our community and our graduating scholars. As important as our Eastview learning community is, we also need to think beyond our local community and expand into our ever-changing nation and our world. At Eastview, we strive to develop a global awareness and a world where we can all feel safe and included. Now more than ever, I challenge you to make the difference you wish to see in our world and our community. Take what you have learned from your families, from Eastview, and from each other to make our world free of the injustices that continue to exist. Our nation and our world is smaller than ever. Please challenge yourselves to stand together to make a difference for the good of all of us. We also have 17 graduates who will serve our great country in the military. They will be attending military academies, participating in college ROTC programs, and enlisting in their selected branches of service. I would like to take this time to recognize all of these brave individuals. And to all of our military personnel viewing our ceremony tonight, please know we thank you for your service to our country. All who have served, those currently serving, and our graduates who will serve, thank you. I want to also note that we are honored to recognize 28 different countries of birth represented in this class. This is one more indicator of the quality and richness of our learning community as it becomes increasingly global and diverse, for which we all benefit. I would also like to welcome friends and family members from all over the world who are connected in some way to our graduates and are viewing this ceremony from wherever you are. Welcome to our Eastview commencement. Before we move forward with our ceremony, we have several individuals who will contribute along the way. Joining us tonight are Board of Education Director Craig Angramson, Ms. Campbell Bernstein, our student speaker, Ms. Mary Carberry, our faculty speaker, and Mr. Greg Dalma, directing our Eastview Concert Choir. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce one of our graduates who was selected through competition to share her message with us. Campbell took the 9th grade Get Involved and Be a Scholar message very seriously. She has very successfully been involved with concert choir, theater, Bravo, speech and debate, and has earned distinction as an all-state performer, state champion, national semifinalist, All-American, and will graduate tonight, magna cum laude. Ms. Campbell Bernstein.
Good evening, family, friends, faculty, coaches, and fellow graduates. Well, it was definitely an interesting fourth quarter, but congratulations, we did it. I suppose I should address the elephant in the room, the uninvited guest. Coronavirus, thank you very little for crashing the party. Not cool. These have been crazy times indeed, challenging and heartbreaking. Yet, there are silver linings. So that is what I am choosing to talk about today. So I will not be focusing on distance learning or social distancing or quarantining or hydroxychloroquine. And I will not be saying we will get through this or this too shall pass or we're all in this together. Instead, I'm going to share with you 3 bits of wisdom that I've learned during my time at Eastview High School in the sincere hope that it will help you navigate these next phases of your lives. Number 1, show gratitude. Being kind, compassionate, appreciative, and acknowledging of others is more important now than ever. Especially in these unprecedented times of uncertainty, we might not all like distance learning, but at least we can all appreciate that we are able to continue our education when so many other students around the world may never return to the classroom when this is all over. When our world was flipped upside down, Eastview's teachers, administrators, custodial staff, and attendance secretaries were there for us and our families to provide a sense of consistency and normalcy. And how about our Eastview alumni? They have also stepped up and been amazing throughout all of this. Your time, your warm notes, your compassion have really made a difference to all of us seniors. One of the first Lightning alumni to reach out to me when word got out that school was canceled was Julia Gilbert, a graduate of Eastview's class of 2017. When I tried out for the Eastview speech team in 8th grade, I'll never forget the first day of practice. Julia, a junior at the time, came right up to me, wrapped her arm around my shoulders, and said, "Hey Cam, I'm Julia. Come sit next to me." She continued to sit next to me at all the team meetings, team practices, and bus rides. She became my mentor, my friend, and biggest cheerleader. Thank you, Julia, for showing me what it means to be a true Eastview scholar. So, I want to challenge you to think of a few people who really helped you along the way and how you could thank them for how they've impacted you. People want to be acknowledged. So acknowledge them. Another person I'd like to acknowledge is one of the custodians here at Eastview, Han. Han and I met in a very unique way. When I was an 8th grader, one night after school, I got locked in a stairwell. It was late, they'd already started turning off the lights, my phone was dead, and to top that all off, I started to hear a dog barking. Being an 8th grader, trapped in a scary high school late at night, I thought, this is it. This is the way I die. In a stairwell. And the barking kept getting louder and louder until I finally saw the dog. It was Han, smiling and laughing at me, saying, "Gotcha, who let the dogs out?" He then proceeded to unlock the door and escort me to my practice. For the next 5 years, he would continue to unlock doors for me late at night in the halls of ECU to make sure I got to my speech practices safe and on time. How cool is that? Han, thank you for your kindness and patience with each of us. Number 2, channel your inner weirdo. Be unique, be creative, find ways to stand out in the crowd. This means putting yourself out there and taking some risks. Throughout my 4 years at ECU, I was very involved in the performing arts department. And when I initially started, I was always drawn to the ingenue or pretty safe female role. But then I discovered that if I put myself out there and took on an edgier role, the higher risk would yield a higher reward. The joy of making people laugh became my superpower. So my advice to you is to be an outlier. Employers want to see people solve problems differently. Creativity will need to become your new superpower. Whether that's trying something completely new next year, like a new trade, skill, or club, be a weirdo and get outside your comfort zone. It's like Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, famously said, "Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes. The ones who see things differently." So, try and see things differently. And number 3, be tough. Mental toughness is going to be the key to our long-term success in getting through these difficult times. Like most of you, I am a diehard Minnesota Vikings fan, and every Sunday during the fall, I have watched my dad suffer as his beloved Vikings have often disappointed him for the past 50 years. My dad's favorite Vikings coach is the legendary Bud Grant. Back in the 70s, when he led the Purple People Eaters to 4 Super Bowls and sadly lost all 4, sorry, Dad, Bud saw this as an opportunity for a unique home field advantage. In January, when teams from warmer climates would play us at Old Metropolitan Stadium, they would completely freak out and be consumed worrying about the minus 30-degree temperatures. Meanwhile, Bud took cold out of the equation entirely for our players. In fact, he wouldn't let them wear gloves. He said, if you're thinking about staying warm, then you're not thinking about playing football. Only worry about what you can control. That's mental toughness. Bud's sage wisdom rings true for us as well. As we look forward, we should focus on what we can control, not what we can't. Because look, we can't control COVID-19. We can't control the economy. We can't control the stock market. We can't control the election. And most importantly, we can't control when we're going to be back to normal. But here's what we can control. Start with your physical health. Exercise and eat right. Focus on your mental health and your above-the-line attitude. Simple things like smiling more, being kind, helping others, being a better listener, and being a good neighbor. These will be the keys to our success. And that's it. Just 3 simple things. Show gratitude, get creative, and be tough. There's an old cliche. Find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And I couldn't agree more. But it takes time to find out what you're really passionate about and great at. Be patient. My parents gave me some great advice as I prepare for college this fall. They said, first, you have to figure out what you don't want to do. Fortunately, I have already figured out that I don't want to do math. I'm sorry, Miss Sherwin, but logs and cosine inverse just are not my friends. So whatever path you're going on to next year, keep an open mind. We don't know what we don't know, and it's not a race to find out. Unless you're 2-time state track and field champion AJ Green. Maybe that's why they call this a commencement, a new beginning. I've been very lucky in that I have been to all 7 continents. But you know what? I can honestly say that there is no better place in the world to live than Apple Valley. My travels have made me appreciate just how fortunate we are to go to such a wonderful high school with so many amazing teachers and staff who genuinely care about us. I mean, this place is riddled with talent. How much talent, you say? I thought you'd never ask. Just this year, we've had several teams win state championships, including the Lightning Dance team, which won a pair of state titles, and the Adaptive Soccer team, which also brought home the hardware. And this doesn't even include what our boys basketball team coulda, shoulda, woulda done at state this year, let alone all the other spring sports and activities that fell victim to COVID-19. But again, there are silver linings. These past 3 months under quarantine were a great reminder to us that life, like any activity or sports season, is about the process, not the end result. Needless to say, our school is pretty incredible. So having a diploma from Eastview is something we can all be proud of. I know I am. In the end, we will forever be known as the class of 2020, the one that got robbed of their senior year spring quarter. But more importantly, we will forever be known as the senior class that lost the homecoming cup to the sophomores, and I think we can all agree that one stung quite a bit as well. We were born on the heels of 9/11. In elementary school, we lived through the Great Recession, and now as seniors, we are surviving a global pandemic. Perhaps no other class in modern history will have persevered the way we have, because our generation was built for adversity. My final note of gratitude goes to all the parents out there who have sacrificed more than we can even comprehend to get us to this point in our lives. I think I can speak on behalf of all of my fellow classmates when I say, we love you and thank you from the bottom of our hearts. As such, since most of our parents grew up in the 80s, I'd like to leave you with a quote from perhaps the most iconic movie of their era. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. In the final scene of the movie, Ferris breaks the fourth wall and sums up the entire film in one sentence. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around every once in a while, you could miss it. Look around, class of 2020. Find those silver linings. They're out there. I wish you all love and laughter, and we will forever be Eastview strong. Thank you.
I wish somebody would have told me, babe, that someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all those reckless nights you won't regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of these good old days.
I was walking down 57th Street towards Park with the same old song in my same old heart, making plans I'm gonna do when I get older. Past a gray-haired man and I found his eyes. It's like he knew my thoughts and he read my mind, saying life is gonna find you when it's supposed to.
Felt my feet stop short as I turned my head, tried to lean into every word he said. Then he said,
when you are younger, you wish you're older. Then when you're older, you wish for time to turn around. Don't let your wonder turn into closure. When you get older, when you get older. Tomorrow comes is waiting on the dawn, and I get to know myself in the place I am, get to fall in love with another man. Understand, when you are younger, you wish you're older, and when you're older, you wish for time to turn around. Wonder turn into closure when you get older, when you get older. I wish somebody would have told me, babe, that someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. I wish somebody would have told me, babe, that someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all those reckless nights you won't regret.
Thank you to our Eastview High School Concert Choir, accompanied by pianist Nicole Marshall and directed by Mr. Greg Dauma, for that wonderful and creative mashup production of Older, Good Old Days, another example of the wonderfully talented and hardworking students at Eastview. And Campbell, thank you for that inspiring message and for your influence and legacy at Eastview. I am comforted to know that Ferris Bueller is still relevant today and we are still learning from him. Campbell is a great example of a student that shows gratitude, is creative in many ways, and is undeniably tough. She will be continuing her education next year at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, majoring in speech communications. Our faculty speaker was chosen by the class of 2020. Miss Mary Carberry is an advanced placement, honors, and on-level social studies teacher and department leader. She is an exceptional faculty member and colleague who is engaging and relationship-driven. Miss Mary Carberry.
Hello, class of 2020. Who could have imagined the last time we were together was the week of March 9th at the boys' basketball section game, or in the hallways of Eastview High School, or on Friday, March 13th, in the PAC 7th hour, watching the seniors win the Dance Tech dance competition. Go Seniors. Feels like a long time ago now, and yet it was only 3 months ago. COVID-19 has impacted only 2% of your entire K-12 career. It will be something you remember, but it will not be your defining moment. I want to assure you, graduates, you will be remembered for much more than the class that was quarantined. As you know, I teach U.S. history. When I start teaching a new unit in U.S. history, I often start in one of two ways. I ask you a series of hook questions connecting current day with the time period we will be studying. For example, before starting the U.S. Civil War, I ask you to think of current day topics that are dividing our nation. Another way I start a new unit is giving a spoiler alert. The American colonists will defeat the British. The U.S. economy will come out of the Great Depression. I teach these challenging historical times with the luxury of knowing how they will end. How does history help us understand our current state of affairs? How does examining our nation's response to the 1950s and 60s civil rights movement inform our understanding of the tragic death of George Floyd? How might a review of our nation's history surviving the 1918 pandemic or developing a vaccine for polio help us understand our present COVID pandemic? A historical perspective allows us to learn from the past, to better understand our present and thoughtfully plan for our future. Now, we don't know when these challenging times will end, but we know they will end. We will come through all of this stronger and with a greater capacity to adapt and understand one another. So what do we do in the meantime? We take this challenge and we make it an opportunity. During COVID, families are spending more time together at home, cooking, doing lawn work, house maintenance. We celebrate birthdays with drive-by parades. We Zoom friends and family. We sit 6 feet apart in our neighbor's driveway. And now we celebrate you virtually, our 2020 graduates. Because you have not sat still for the last 3 months. You have prepared for national AP exams, national speech and debate competitions, applied for scholarships, worked essential jobs, took care of siblings, and sewn masks. Our DP students created video lessons for middle school students. The Eastview Black Honor Association organized a food drive to support Minneapolis. The concert choir prepared a virtual musical selection for us tonight. The future members of our U.S. military have been training. The Flash, yearbook, and newspaper staff have continued documenting our story that one day will be the history that your children and grandchildren will learn in the future. This tenacious graduating class did not simply stay at home. How will you remember your senior year? What artifacts? Photos, awards, journals? What will help you in remembering and understanding this year? When my children were in middle school, I started a tradition at the end of every school year. This tradition started in our family porch after my daughter was disappointed that she didn't win any end of the school year awards. So the Carberry family launched the Porch Awards. These virtual awards celebrated achievement and were an artifact of success. What might a Porch Award look like for the members of our Eastview community? Let's try it. My first Eastview High School Porch Award goes to the seniors that have spent the last 4 years in the same school as a parent. I present to you the Survival Award. For the parents of these seniors, I present the Costco Award, since you always had snacks for your senior and all the friends. Or better yet, the Cash Machine Award. Next, it is my privilege to present the Eastview High School Tony Award. This award goes to all the talented performers, musicians, and techies who shared their talents with the Eastview community over the last 4 years. Thank you. Next, I present Eastview's Sportsmanship Award to our senior athletes. Thank you for years of dedication and love for your sport. For you seniors whose seasons were cut short or didn't happen at all, this award recognizes your dedication especially. AP Scholars, congratulations on receiving Eastview's national recognition in U.S. News and World Report. Thank you for your commitment to academic excellence. Mock Trialers, chess team, robotics and science Olympiad seniors, I present to you the Cogent Thinking Award for clear, logical solutions. For all credit recovery students, particularly the students I got to know in 8th hour social studies, I present the Perseverance Award. Way to stay with it. And finally, it is my honor to present the Heart Award to the parents and guardians of Eastview graduates. You have been your child's greatest advocate and unconditional supporter. These seniors have relied on you for the last 18 years. I know there are many more deserving individuals, so now it is the time for you to create a virtual award of your own. Virtual awards are all the rage during COVID. Take out your phones. Oh, it already is. Okay, or a piece of paper. Think of 3 people: a classmate, a mentor, maybe a teacher or coach, and of course your family. I challenge you to invent an award for these important people. Your awards are a great opportunity to take no one for granted. Show your appreciation. Create your historical artifact. Class of 2020, you have strongly contributed to the Eastview legacy of academics, arts, and athletic excellence. Remember the history you made here. Create the future you want to live in. Congratulations.
Ms. Carberry is a very thoughtful, passionate educator and leader, held in high regard by the class of 2020. You were able to catch a glimpse into what it is like to be in a history class with her and why she is a favorite among her students. Graduates, you are living history right now, and we don't know the ending. You have an opportunity now to influence it for good. Thank you, Ms. Carberry, for your engagement with our students and for sharing your sage wisdom with us tonight. Class of 2020, you are a special group. Your senior year was different than anyone could have ever imagined. Our school year changed on March 15th when our school was closed, and we transitioned to distance learning immediately and with little warning. You were asked to repurpose your senior year. Competitions, performances, and special occasions were postponed and then canceled. You were asked to complete your final weeks of learning in a whole new way, a way for which you had not prepared for or even expected. This was to be a time for anticipation toward the end of your high school years, a time for hope and optimism as you look to what is next for you, and the excitement and celebrations of so many special moments shared with your classmates during the final weeks of your senior year. You've learned a lot about life in the last few weeks. With empathy, selflessness, and a high regard for the safety and welfare of others during a global health crisis, you have developed resiliency and resolve to complete your high school learning in a whole new way. You had to be more independent than ever to remain engaged and to complete your learning at home. And then, these past 2 weeks have also been especially difficult. When faced with the tragic and shocking death of George Floyd and the resulting unrest in our community, you again face difficult experiences affecting you, your families, your friends, our community. There are not words to adequately describe what this means for all of us. And yet, with all of these challenges surrounding you, you have answered the bell, and here you are tonight, poised and ready for whatever may be next for you. As our future leaders, you will be vital to the pandemic recovery for our country and our world. We know that your resilience, grit, and courage will serve you well in these endeavors. We also must face the change efforts needed to provide equity in our society. We can and must do more. Make the choice to stand together, recognizing our shared humanity and unity against systemic racism, injustice, and senseless violence. And I believe that you can and will be the strong voices to help lead this change. When confronted with the uncertainty and adversity these events presented, you have proven to yourselves that you are up to the challenges that you will undoubtedly face down the road. And you have what it takes to bring others with you to make our world a better place. To the class of 2020, for all the significant achievements in your advanced placement courses, outstanding national and state test scores, exceptional distinction in music and theater, state and national championships in speech and debate, to championship after championship in our athletic and other co-curricular activities, you are a very special and accomplished group. And as proud as I am of all your accomplishments, I am most proud of how over the past 4 years you've embraced and lived the Eastview puzzle pieces, our guiding principles. You are engaged learners, spirited, fun, proud of your school and passionate, and most of all respectful of others, all pieces in our puzzle. It is a tradition that each of you will receive our guiding principles and our puzzle pieces with your diploma. And you will also receive your own personal formal piece of the puzzle in the form of a keychain. And with the hope that you will keep the lessons of character learned at Eastview High School very close to you. The card reads, Eastview High School graduates, congratulations. You should be proud. You are forever a piece of the Eastview High School puzzle. The puzzle pieces have helped guide the Eastview High School family in our achievements. We hope our puzzle pieces will guide you to find continued success and happiness in your future. Best wishes and congratulations to our Eastview High School scholars. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. 4 years ago, I was able to welcome you all to Eastview High School as brand new, excited, incoming 9th grade students. One of our quiz questions presented to you that cold January day by Mr. Wanis was, what will you be doing in about 680 school days? Well, class of 2020, that time is right now. Board of Education Director Angrimson, on behalf of the faculties and administrations of all the schools our graduate candidates have attended, I present this class to you. I hereby certify that each candidate about to receive a diploma tonight has met or exceeded all of the requirements for their graduation set forth by the state of Minnesota and the District 196 Board of Education, and I heartily recommend they be granted their diplomas. Director Angrimson.
Good evening. As an elected official, I am responsible for all children in the 196 district, but my allegiance actually goes with the Eastview community. I had a 2015 graduate, so my heart will always be with Eastview. So these children that are graduating this year, they've gone through so much in their lifetime, being born in the 9/11 tragedy, and then coming out of their senior year, having to deal with this pandemic and distance learning for 3 months. As your basketball team had the word relentless, that's what I consider you as relentless. You've put a lot into this, and I'm so very proud of each and every one of you. This is a great school, and I'm sure you'll all do great things. So I wish you luck in whatever you do from here, and I present the class of 2020.
Dylan Michael Aboud, Aziza Mahad Abdi, Rakib Bashir Abdi, Abbas Jamal Abdul Qadir, Azhar Hassan Abdullahi, Siraj Eldin Abu Qadir, Jordan Nicole Adams, Julia Marie Ahern, Ahmad Saeed Ahmed, Faris Ajmal Ahmed, Hassan A. Ahmed, River Ali Alakidi, Edna Raza Ali, Stefan Slavik Alakin, Elizabeth Marie Allard, Claire Elizabeth Alwyn, Adam Henry Enignastu, Hannah Sophia Anderson, Jackson Wills Anderson, Nicholas Reed Anderson, Alexis Chiamaka Anuge, Natalie Ann Arias, Christopher Robert Arndt, Nahom Kellamwork Asfa, Katrina Imani Askvig, Akul Athmaram, Sakath Atluri, Hikmat Damilola Babatunde, William Tashan Bailey, Amanda Michelle Bakken, Dejan R. Barber, Thomas Trent Barron, Colin Ray Bean, Sienna Nicole Becker, Jonah Roger Banky, Allison Marie Benekin, Griffin R. Benson, Raymond John Benson, Caden Ryan Berg, Lauren Elizabeth Bernhardson, Campbell Lavon Bernstein, Megan G. Beyer, Madison Elizabeth Bissick, Amira Indrani Bisundial, Kartira Bevins, Aiden Spencer Black, Madeline Charlotte Black, Harper Lane Block, Irene Frances Bosey, Ruchitha Bogaretti, Natalie Rose Boland, Lauren Marie Bonfig, Elijah Benjamin Boots, Natalie K. Bordson, Hannah Mary Boyer, Rain John Lepsidus Breda, Anne Cecilia Bramehurst, Samuel Rust Brewer, Isabella Christine Brooks, Mara Angeline Brooks, Amelia Offerman Brown, Anya Marie Brown, Elliot Offerman Brown, Hunter Adam Brown, Madison Ann Brown, Tejane Chadavia Brown, Maureen Foley Brusco, Michaela Nicole Bryan, Kirsten Dale Buffy, Makel Anthony Buford, Sierra Leone Bunkholt, Evan Christopher Burns, Sharon Sreshta Burry, Hadley Ray Burrows, Jack Magnus Busey, Nicholas Michael Booth, Ava Marie Rui Beimers, Brianna Elizabeth Carnes, Nathan Frederick Callies, Joseph W. Campion, Drew Thomas Carroll, Delaney Marie Cashin, Adrian Castro Rodriguez, Pierce Cernahouse, Sarah Brooke Champion, Joseph Spencer Chang, Annalise James Chapdelaine, Emily Rose Chapdelaine, Rashmika Chikati, Aaron Chen, Jamie Chen, Alexander Nicholas Chesick, Michaela Rose Chisholm, Mackenzie Lynn Chisholm, Raymond Yongsuk Choi, Emily Marie Christensen, Kaylee Ray Christian, Nathan Dean Christofferson, Gabriel R. Clark, Zachary Ryan Clifford, Owen Daniel Clinton, Maya Togja Conant, Will Below Conant, Reese Daniel Connor, Amber Paige Connors, Ryan Merritt Tay Cook, Samantha Jeanette Corbett, Julio Coy Cordero, Sydney Lynn Cordova, Alyssa Rose Cortez, Evan David Cox, Shayna Coralan Cox, Joseph Allen Crawford, Annalisa Christine Crenshaw, Reagan May Kronk, Stephen James Crowell, Sydney Rose Crowley, Taylor Marie Saigan, Anwar Dahir, Quentin Henry Dahl, Brianna Taylor Elizabeth Daly, Timothy J. Daly, Aiden Michael Dalzell, Adriana Marie Danner, Mark Alex Davidenko, Sophia Ray Decker, Peter Francis Dainert, Abigail Nicole DeMars Welty, Hayden Brian Dempsey, Grace Ann Deutsch, Elena Grace Fried Devine, Will Robert Devlin, Maria Adriana Diaz Castro, Sydney Grace Diebold, Celeste Morgan Dome Palmer, Thomas Gregory Paul Donahue, Joshua W. Doolittle, Claudia Rose Dugan, Jacob Richard Downs, Kayla Lynn Doyle, Laura Ann Drake, Elizabeth Alexandra Dubinchik, Brenna Ray Duffy, Harita Dugarala, Anish Dula, Angel Victoria Dye, Elena Ku Ia, Joshua Blake Ernessy, Ashley Doris Ellsbury, Mason Patrick Enderline, Elijah Paul Epperson, Jenna Marie Erickson, Caden Kelly Espindabanek, Aaron Elizabeth Ewald, Ben G. Feldman, Cora Olivia Fisher, Laura Lemes Fittipaldi, Elizabeth Ann Fitzpatrick, Carly Marie Flippo, Peyton Rose Formanek, Dylan Michael Fredrickson, Madeline Louise Freeman, Anna Marie Freegan, Aaron John Frome, Niana Alemeyahu Galmesa, Lily Ann Garcia, Thomas Alexis Garcia, Justin Samuel Garraway, Michaela Marie Gasner Hobgood, Rowena Tiku Gebru, Anthony Thomas Jepp, Austin Douglas Garish, Catherine Ellen Gear, Roman Ali Gilbert, Isa Jaden Guile, Chance Lawrence Goff, Alexander John Goldberg, Alexander E. Golier, Ava Rosa Gomez, Vanessa Guadalupe Gonzalez, Kevin Gonzalez Lopez, Max Bernard Goet, Alvin Ray Green III, Kendall Rayanne Green, Grant Ryan Greeley, Austin James Grevin, Grant Stephen Skelton Griffiths, Ashley Natasha Guerrero Flores, Amina Abdul Kadir Guled, Pavan Gudapati, Anisa Mohamud Habib, Austin Van Hecker, Janea Elizabeth Harrell, Larissa Nicole Halfley, Parker John Thomas Hagebach, Hannah Marie Hagen, Kobe John Hagen, Riley Ethan Hagen, Christopher David Hahn, Noah Ahmad Haider, Rutger Jack Haynes, Eric Brian Hamill, Anisha Tiara Hannah, Anissa Kiara Hannah, Paul James Hansen, Anthony Jared Hansen, Michaela Marie Hansen, Shelby Alexis Hardin, Lauren Michelle Hartig, Emily Elizabeth Harwell, Madeline Mary Haugen, Zachary J. Hauser, Sophia Grace Headland, Hannah Hope Hedke, Josh Peter Heinrich, Severn Henry Helgeson, Kaylee Patrice Herbranson, Grayson Campbell Hernandez, Elizabeth Gwendolyn Hare, Max Scott Hess, Olivia Rose Hess, Preston Stephen Hetland, Jake Charles Haunish, Ethan Gray Hicks, Devin Grace Harrelmeyer, Jason David Hill, Broden James Hipple, Inara Munir Ali Harani, Allison Litau Hitchcock, Jillian Litau Hitchcock, Paisley Valina Holman, Emma Kathleen Holmes, Joshua Michael Hood, Claire Judith Hookham, Zachary Ryan Hove, Casey Leona Hubbs, Allison Rose Huberty, Taylor Grace Marie Huddle, Jacob Caleb Hunt, Sonnet Sundararaman Iyer, Jalen Kobe James, Kaylee Ann Jansen, Grace Elizabeth Yesh, Anahis Lillian Jimenez, Adriana Ann Marie Johnson, Cullen Baden Johnson, Gavin Philip Johnson, Grace Elizabeth Johnson. Jackson Henry Johnson. Jacob Jennings Johnson. Larry Vashon Johnson. Lars Carl Johnson. Lauren Delaney Johnson. Maya Rogine Johnson. Owen Robert Johnson. Treyon Deshaun Jones Jr. Ratavian Rashun Jordan. Amelia Ray Julian. Julia Rose Junti. Ali Hassam Kadri. Tiffany Rose Caldall. Jack Peter Calms. Suyash Kalra. Elliot Barris Kappel. Nikhil Kapoor. Zerubbabel Zudi Kabidi. Jacob Walter Kemper. Ian Patrick Kenny. Carly Carolyn Kenyon. Maya A. Herrera Cockerell. Tishion Jerme Kika. Aisha Arab Kilas. Carter Homan Kilby. Owen Ma Chow Kylie. Grace Marie Kish. Claire Ann Kibble. Marissa Irene Jose. Ian Ray Knox. Skylar Allen Coop.
Vladimir R. Kornev. Eliza Jane Kos. Peyton Thomas Kasorek. Marissa Kimberly Koster. Talia Tasman Porter Katulski. Braden Lewis Kovacs. Gabrielle Annalise Kramer. Chloe Marie Kraus. Lindsay Renee Krebel. Charlotte Sylvia Kreckler. Anders Robert Kronkvist. Noah Matthew Kunze. Ben K. Kapinski. Lisa D. Labak. Kenton Carl Ledoux. Carissa Ann Logison. William Reed Lambert. Dominic Lamkins. Anna Marie Lansendorfer. Chloe Helen LaPlante. Corinna Zahn Larson. Eric Stephen Larson. Hannah Marie Larson. Jamin Lawrence Larson. Evan Kenneth Latta. Kyle Nok Lee. Me I Lee. William Andrew Leach. Asher Nathan Lev. Henry James Levon. Marcus Shingham Lee. Aaliyah Lindner. Nisal Savinda Lianage. Alicia Jane Locke. Anthony Jacob Lowe. Melissa Grace Loomis. Eva Linnea Lundgren. Riley S. C. Lyman. Ethan Bowen McBain. Tate Lawrence Mahachek. Allison Mackenzie Makiak. Lillian Jean Jin McNaughton. Ian James McGuire. Joshua Michael Masick, Advika Malarvanan, Benjamin Michael Malloy, Torsten Heiner Lawrence Marsh, Paige Marie Martin, Juan Jose Martinez, Victor Augusto Martins da Costa Rosa, Marissa Marty, Ben Christopher Mason, Harris Masumi, Charles Emmett Matajasevich, Noah Brian Matson, Gavin James McAllister, Kendrick Isaiah McCoy, Marissa Andy Eliana McCready, Joseph Patrick McDaniel, Mariah Faith McClendon, William Jared Meehan IV, Young Win May, Thor William Melby, Damian Andres Mendoza, Deborah Habtermarian Mengesha, Robert Allen Mestas Jr., Kristen Marie Meyer, Cassandra L. Mickelson, Zachary Christopher Miller, Julia Kerr Milne, Pedro Antonio Miranda, Bilal Hakim Mohammed, Muna M. Mohammed, Zakari M. Mohammed, Bukhari Hussein Mohammed, Joshua Sisovat Mom, Brittany R. Munson, Emmeline Marie Montgomery, Chance Boudin Moody, Samuel Joseph Morgenstern, Riley Greer Mortensen, Matthew Saylor Mossett, Kaylin Sean Yan Moi, Robert Jeffrey Mueller, Jack David Mulvane, Rachel Nicole Monkberg, Ryan James Munson, Avery Murray, Anna Merzinova, Olivia Jean Myers, Claire Ruth Knack, Kaylin Ann Nile, Sylvia Ruth Nettermeyer, Mackenzie Grace Negan, Haley Marie Nelson, Julia K. Nelson, Alexander John Neppel, Aidan Ray Nesbor, Bridget Ann Nugent, Dariana Lataya Newton, Erica Chanthima Nong, Bin John Wynn, Emma Josephine Nichols, Donovan Pan No, Haley Elizabeth Nolting, Ryan Francis Nunberg, Henge Yentia, Paige Elizabeth Nygaard, Megan E. O'Donnell, Kira Marie O'Malley, Darby Rose O'Neill, Caroline Ann Oberly, Kingston O.A. Ofori, Thomas Raymond Opstad, Sadie Marie Orenstein, Aidan C. Osborne, Mustafa Kamal Osman, Russell Carl Ostergaard. Alan Robert Page. Yamel Alexander Pantoja Morales. Landis Jolie Parham. Terriana Gabrielle Paisley. Angelo Michael Paolucci. Gemma Charisse Peterson. Cole William Peterson. Morgan Lynn Peterson. Ryan Pham. Savannah Pott. Hunter David Phillips. Adelina K. Pongsavath. Kimberly Jean Peel. Sophia Lynn Patera. Taylor Christine Plutt. Evan May Polfus. Julia Cordero Porras. Mary Rose Port. Anna Flynn Powers Brecky. Ashley Marie Prissel. Maggie Marie Prudzi. Ryan Donald Quaintance. Lily Rose Reichert. Matthew Jackson Rajala. Meghana Rajulapati. Hunter Van Ramey. Jonathan Ramirez Crespo. Frederick Ramsey Jr. Jyotsna Rathanam. Jackson David Reeser. Sanjana Gantaga Reddy. Faith Victoria Reichstadt. Abigail Madison Reese. J.C. Quinn Rhodes. Adila Riaz Ahmadine. Henry James Reefer. Javier Rivera Aragon. Josie Ann Roberts. Jacqueline Joanna Rodriguez. Jonathan Rodriguez Bestos. Camille Ann Rowe. Haley Ellen Rollwing. Ethan Daniel Rose. Kadriana Noel Ross. Alyssa Sophia Rother. Ezekiel Timothy Rotman. Emery Ethan Rudolph. Sophia Faith Runge. Molly Grace Ryan. Sophia Grace Sahota. Jacob Bradley Salmon. Grant Murray Salseedler. Brandon A. Samsundar. Yesenia Alexandra Sanchez Pliego. Rebecca K. Sandage. Andres Sandoval. Caden Matthew Scales. Tessa Christine Schaefer. Bennett Edwin Shearing. Isaac A. Schiltz. Addison William Schmidt. Anna Kara Schmidt. Eli William Schmidt. Linus David Schrader. Evan Raymond Schrader. Bryn Michelle Schwans. Peyton Rhodey Seacrest. Elias Mohammed Seed. Anne Elise Sell. Vilepon Aline Sengpenya. Aman Gabriel Shah. Rhiannon Elizabeth Chanette. Maxwell Austin Sherwin. Mohammed A. Shadain. Nicole Ann Shover, Zain Gulkut Siddiqui, Caitlin Elizabeth Siegel, Abigail Leah Similgore, Mariana Simoas, Connor Patrick Smith, Cora L. Smith, Mackenzie Lee Soderbeck, Liam Luke Soul, Alexis Christina Marie Songa, Ekaterina D. Sudakova, Vanessa Rose Southgate, Eric Charles Spiegel, Ashley Michelle Sprouse, Matthew David Stanzik, Kira Reen Steppen, Emily Rose Stevens, Julia Louise Stevenson, Catherine Michelle Stock, Evan Kyoto Stolpa, Lionel Rakint Suggs Jr., Caitlin Colleen Sullivan, Caitlin Joan Sverin, Kira Christine Svensson, Andrea Joy Swalvey, Daniel Matthew Sweden, Madeline Bess Swenson, Jacob Anthony Swirsky, Gavin James Samantas, Cade Jager Samansky, Jack Thomas Takahashi, David Su-Yi Tan, Jian Tang, Isabella Ann Tatum, Anuchit Tawang, Lamaya Marita Rachel Taylor, Jose A. Tello, Felix Derek Temmel, Zachary Thieler, Ryan Edward Thiessen, Jaquez Nathaniel Tillman, Julia Elizabeth Teo, Anushri Tiwari, Miguela Luisa Toledo, Tina Tran, Emmeline Catherine Tritchler, William Kevin Trojak, Connor Allen Young Troke, Tan Amelia Trong, Joshua Michael Urban, Jonathan Victor Ustenikov, Kevin Duke Van, Anthony Jackson Vanberg, Jackson Jeffrey Vandenberg, Luke Paul Vanderskoff, Luke Jeffrey Veldhuis Cruzy, Nicholas James Vermerlin, Rohan Vidge, Aaliyah Marie Vincent, Madison Michaela Vitali, Han Mi Win Vo, Taya Dupraz Wagner, Avery Alice Walter, Margaret Wang, Faith Ngendo Wangangu, Shana Waruguru Wanjohi, Samuel Thomas Wanis, Jacob Matthew Washek, Josie Renee Weir, Jolene Elizabeth Weber, Bennett Randall Wiestrand, Pamela Jean Wenzel, Noah Robert Weaver, Valencia Rose Whitebear, Elise Catherine Weigel, Paulina Maria Wilczewska, Brendan Henry Wilhelm, Natalie Ann Wilson, Monica Mary Woolheater, Bobby Elizabeth Wolf, Hannah Joy Wolf, Nicole Jewel Wosick, Jaslyn Michelle Wright, Yasuki Wu, Samira Mohammed Youssef, Benjamin Philip Skywalker Zarnes, Yolanda Zhang, Sarah Marie Zipf.
Thank you, Director Angramson. It is our hope our virtual ceremony has been a worthy tribute to the class of 2020. Your experiences are historic, and these unique memories will bond you together forever. You are a special group, and this time has been a defining moment for you and one for which you will always be respected and commemorated. While you have experienced a lot these past few weeks, one thing holds true. Your friendships and your dreams will remain unchanged. Stay true to them along the way. Good luck and be well. Congratulations to the class of 2020.